Okay, tell me a little about yourself.
Well, I am a supply chain management major here at UH. I am in my junior year going into my senior next semester and should be graduating in the December of 2019 with my supply chain management major or my supply chain management degree. And then I also am doing the JUMP program here at UH where I can get an early start on my master's degree, and I'll be pursuing a general business administration master's degree alongside my supply chain major.
Okay. What makes you want to work for our company?
Well, I like a company that cares about its employees but also cares about its customers. And I feel that with your company, it's a company that actually cares about its people from what I've heard about from people that I've known that worked for your company and people that I've seen online leaving reviews saying that, oh, I loved working here. It's probably the best time of my life. And that customers I've been a customer to your company before and get treated properly is the best thing you can always ask for.
Okay, and what was your current position? What were you doing now or before?
My current position right now is I work as a cake decorator at Peggy Ann Bakery. And I've worked mainly in the food industry, but I'm looking to get more corporate world experience in my field and to kind of veer away from that experience, but then also to get more experience in my industry with the supply chain and to learn more.
Okay. And so is that why you left the current position? You were just looking for
Yes,
something more
I was
corporate?
looking for something a little bit more related to my career field because I've loved working in the food industry because it's taught me a lot of great customer service skills, but I do need to learn more of the business side of things, which in the food industry you don't get as much opportunities to do so.
Okay. Well, talking about customer service skills, move on to what are some of your strengths?
Some of my strengths is that I'm a really hardworking person. I'm not good at knowing when to stop. Like, I just keep working until I can get the job done. I know sometimes I'll even take it upon myself, just be like, I want to get this done. Like, I like to just get the projects done. I don't like to procrastinate them because if it gets procrastinated, it's never going to get done. Then other stuff is going to pop up as well. And I'm also very much of a people person. I love working with people. I love talking to people. Sometimes it makes me a weakness because sometimes I talk too much. But I can still consider it a strength though because it has helped me meet a lot of people in the world and make a lot of connections with people in this area.
Okay. And you did kind of touch on some weaknesses, kind of the strengths and weaknesses thing. What are some of your weaknesses?
Some of my weaknesses are sometimes that in stressful situations I can usually manage my stress somewhat well, but sometimes it teeters where I'll get too stressed out and I just can't work in this. I stop being able to work. It's one of those things where you get overly stressed out that you burn yourself out.
Okay. What makes you different than other people applying?
Well, I mean, you can ask anybody that I've worked for before. I'm one of those people that, like I said earlier, I always work till the job gets done, and I'm always good about doing stuff before even having to be asked to do it. I'm immediately in my head like, this needs to be done, this needs to be done. Trying to get the job done before even having to be asked to do it, and sometimes even doing stuff that's not even part of my job descriptions just to help out other people.
Okay. You're talking about working with other people. Would you rather work by yourself, or would you rather work as part of a team?
I'd rather work as part of a team, but I can work by myself. I feel that I work better in teams though because because by yourself, I feel that you only are limited to your own opinion. When you have the knowledge and experience of other people, it brings out the best of everyone, especially if you have a really good team. It brings out the best of people, and with all the different backgrounds and experiences, it can bring a lot to the table when trying to complete one task.
Okay. How did you hear about this company?
From word of mouth, and also found it on different job searching websites like Indeed.com.
Okay. And kind of went through what makes you different. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself working and just kind of living that day-to-day life of just working. And of course, I want to one day move up into management because I've just had a very naturally born management style kind of personality and a leadership style personality. I've just always been like the leaders in groups I've been in, any projects I've worked on. I just kind of, without even saying anything, I just become the leader if somebody else hasn't already. and I always try to take it upon myself to do, like, help grow the group and help lead it and make sure we're getting on topic and getting things done.
Okay. If we needed you to, would you be willing to relocate?
I'd be willing to relocate. I do enjoy the Huntsville area and would love to stay here, but if it's a good opportunity, I would be willing to relocate.
Okay. You mentioned earlier about stress. Sometimes it can be a little too much. How do you manage stressful situations, and how are you working towards managing them better?
One thing I do to help manage stressful situations is that if I'm too stressed out, I usually will try to ask for help depending on if somebody's available or not. I also try to time manage better, which is one of the things that usually causes stressful situations. If you don't properly time manage what you're doing, you can get backed up really easily. And so one of the things that I try to do is to budget my time wisely and be like, let me get the hardest task done first and then slowly work my way down to the easiest and work my way through the task without forgetting anything or messing it up, but also without stressing myself out.
And just kind of expanding on that, what kind of environment do you prefer to work in? I know you said you worked in the food industry, which can be kind of high stress. So, what environment do you like?
I mean, weirdly enough, I love like the high stress environments because I've worked jobs where I'm literally doing the same day-to-day thing. It's very monotone, but I love being able to work fast-paced, being able to just explore and do a bunch of stuff. Like that's the weird thing is I have a personality where like I constantly need to be moving. Like I'm always like tapping my pencil or shaking my leg or something because I just need to be moving. And like as you notice, I talk with my hands a lot because I just have a very moving personality. Like I love to be working. I love to be just getting out there, and I love new situations because it allows me to grow and to figure out what I did wrong and to be able to grow from that.
Okay. What makes you think you're a good fit for our organization?
Well, from what I've heard from your company, you really focus on a lot of people. Like you focus towards your clients and your own employees. And I am an extremely like people person. Like I love working with people. I love talking to people. I like getting to know people. I'm always one that will go out of my way to make a customer's experience enjoyable because I've had many times working in the food industry where sometimes we can't help it if something goes wrong, but I'm going to go out of my way to make it up for them because it's not fair to the customer that they have a bad time. And so the best thing you can do is try to make it up to them either by just checking on to make sure everything's okay. I've had to give customers free desserts before, like when I was working at Rick's Barbecue. I worked as a shift leader and I had a customer who we completely messed up his order. So I had our team remake it, and then I also brought him a free dessert and constantly checked back up with him. And I always try to make sure that customers are getting what they want and that they're making sure that they are just having a good experience. But I'm also making sure to get my job done.
Okay. Tell me about a project you were a part of, like a team project you were a part of.
I worked as a group project for one of my classes here at UH, and a part of the project was to design our own business plan. And so me and it was two other people in the group, we did location analysis to figure out the best place to locate it, and we located our business. It was a bakery. We located on the main street in Boston where there was constant foot traffic, so that way we could have a good location to set up to make sure we could get plenty of business. But I also went in and did cost analysis of what it was going to cost to do our goods, our equipment, our supplies, anything that we would need to purchase, and comparing it to what our possible projected sales would be based off of the foot traffic in the area and the population of the city. And we also went in and reached out to the people that were actually leasing the building and reached out to them to figure out a deal we could make with them about a possible price point for that rent. And we also reached out to possible business partners for the project to figure out if they would be willing to partner with our business.
Okay, well, this is more of an entry-level thing. What experience do you have with leadership?
With leadership, I worked as a shift leader, as I said earlier, with Rick's Barbecue. I had to run the front of house, which is the front area where like the dining area is. I also had experience helping out in the kitchen area, helping run that whenever the back of house leader was not there. I also since it was just we had a main manager and 2 shift leaders. I also helped out doing a lot of the end of the day paperwork and filling out inventory and restocking and trying to make sure that our inventory we get the right amounts when it comes in for shipment, and to just make sure everything runs smoothly in the entire restaurant. And then when I worked as a hostess at Kona Grill, I was an unofficial head hostess, which is the main hostess, like the one in charge of making sure everything goes smoothly. So I had to make sure that our servers were getting properly taken care of, and so were our customers, and that the hostesses were doing their jobs.
Okay. What job-specific technical skills do you possess?
I have some experience working with MRPs and ERPs. It is still limited because since I am only a junior and I recently transferred over into the supply chain program, I have yet to be able to immerse myself more into the technical side of it. I have gotten introduced to some of the ideas and concepts and am very intrigued by it, and I'm still learning day by day more and more.
Okay. Tell me about a time you had to deal with conflict on the job.
One time when I was working at as a shift leader at Rick's, we had another shift leader and a lot of the other employees had conflict with one of our cashiers because they felt that she wasn't properly doing her job. And since no one would properly just communicate with her their problems, instead they just talked about it without talking to her. I made it so that I communicated with her any problems that was having, but also tried to be in a constructive manner and tell her ways that she can improve upon those problems, and also make sure that I support her because since she is one of my employees, I wanted to make sure that she was taken care of. So I made sure to have everybody that was involved try and sit down and have a conversation so that way they could figure out ways to move forward instead of letting things just build up.
You giving that employee constructive criticism. How do you take criticism?
As long as it's constructive, I usually take criticism very well, and I also try to make sure that I take it into account because even though I may not want to hear it, sometimes it's one of those things that you may not realize you're doing something wrong until it's pointed out to you that you're doing something wrong.
Okay. The project you were talking about earlier, the business plan project, were there any roadblocks or barriers throughout that? Any hardships? Go pretty smoothly.
One of the biggest roadblocks we had was we were making it where the bakery had THC infused baked goods, which in some states is illegal, and so we were trying to do it for medical and recreational use by our customers. And so the biggest roadblock was trying to comply with any state regulations and to make sure that we weren't violating any laws, and also making sure that we had our own regulations in place to take care of our customers in safe manner so that way they don't get in trouble either.
Okay. What do you think you'll add to the company, more specifically the supply chain program here?
I think I'll add to the fact that, like I said earlier, I'm a very hardworking person, and I may not know a lot going into it, but I'm also the kind of person that I love to be a sponge and just absorb information. So as long as I'm being told what to do and explain what to do in a proper manner, I'm a quick learner, so I can easily learn the job as I go and be able to excel in the job as well.
You said initially, as a 5-year plan, you want to immerse yourself in something more corporate, more professional than what you're currently doing. What is your long-term career plan? Looking further out, what would you like to be doing?
Long term, one of my biggest goals in life when I retire would be to open up my own bakery and to run my own company. It's one of my biggest passions since ever I was a little girl, like cooking in my kitchen with my mom. Like, she would call me her little mixer because I would always come in there and help her whenever she was doing something and just get down and dirty and start mixing up things and getting flour everywhere and just getting everything a mess.
Okay, and what motivates you?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say what motivates me is just that like one day I want to start my own family, and so working towards that goal of having a family and having kids, like I want my kids to grow up being proud, being like, that's my mom. And I like to work hard to just for my future family and for the people I care about, so that way I can be like well set off in the future and be able to take care of my family.
Okay. And going more towards personal life, what do you like doing outside your job?
Some of my hobbies outside of work would be like baking in my free time. Also, I like to hike. Well, when the weather's warm, right now it's pretty cold, but whenever it's actually warm, I love to go hiking. I just love exploring. Like, I love discovering new places. Like, whenever I go hiking, if I discover a little new spot that I haven't seen before at a place I've hiked before, it's always one of those really interesting moments. You're like, oh, I've never seen this before. Like, how exciting is this? And
Okay. Um, how would you react if you were giving a task that was not in your job description?
I'd probably just take it, and if I didn't know how to do it, I'd probably ask, be like, hey, how can I do this? But I mean, I'm usually one of those people that even if I'm given something I've never done before, I'm like, it's a new experiment, it's a new experience. Why not just get to just do it?
Okay. And you said you do want to move up and be a manager. What would you say your management style is like?
Um, I like to be a hands-on manager. Like I like to be one that supports my employees. One of my things is that I like to make sure that they know what they're doing, and then if I know what you're doing, I'm usually very hands-off at that point. But when you're beginning off, I like to be more hands-on to make sure that you're able to get the job done without stress or anything. But then when I trust in my employees that they know what they're doing, I'm pretty laid back and just let them do their thing.
Okay. Do you think of a time you disagreed with the decision at work, either from a supervisor or something someone else did, and how you handled that disagreement?
Uh, when I was working as a hostess, that like there was a time when I was working there, when I first started working there, you weren't supposed to seat anybody outside. They were supposed to be self-seating, and that you had no control over it. And so it arose a lot of conflicts on busy nights because customers wanted a place to sit out there, but we couldn't do anything to help them. So it caused a lot of conflicts. But my manager was like, no, it's policy. We don't do that. And so I was like, okay. And so sometimes to try and lessen the situation, I would try to at least somewhat help customers, like guide them out there. Or if a table got emptied, but there was no one to clean it, I would try and go clean it real quick. That way they have somewhere to sit, because sometimes when you're so busy, you don't even have time to just do the simplest of things. So I always try to help out and be able to accommodate what I can within my job description.
Okay. Think of something you did wrong or something you messed up, and how did you handle fixing it?
When right now where I work as a cake decorator, I accidentally put on a person's cake, it was supposed to say happy birthday, and for some reason my mind said to put happy birthday. Like I left out the T in birthday. Did no one realize until I think the customer showed up, and so immediately we took it back and tried to like scrape it clean and make sure that it was like fixed. And so I went in and made sure to put happy birthday on their cake and apologized for the inconvenience of them having to wait longer on their cake to be ready.
Okay. And are you looking for any career development opportunities with us? Like if we could provide something for you, and you said you were getting your MBA. Are there any other career development opportunities you'd be interested in?
I mean, I would 100% be interested in if I work at a place that is willing to like help pay for my MBA or help me pay for even another degree that would be more beneficial, or like a minor in something that could help my career position, or for any certifications that could be like beneficial to my career.
Okay. If we asked your friends what were 3 character traits they would describe you with?
They'd probably say outgoing, goofy, and talkative.
Okay. Okay, move on to a little less serious questions. If you were a dog, what breed of dog would you be?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'd probably be like a German Shepherd because I'm very loyal to people and I love people. And I've met German Shepherds before, and they're probably one of the most loving dogs, but they're also very protective of their owners.
Okay. If you had a superpower, what superpower would you choose?
This is probably like a good and a bad thing, but I've always wanted to be able to read people's minds. Even though knowing myself, once I'm able to do that, I would hate it afterwards. I'm like, I wish I could read what people were thinking.
Okay. And the last question was really fun. If a penguin walked through that door wearing a sombrero, what would he say, and why is he here?
Ooh, oh, that's a good one. He would say, "Hola, what do you want for Christmas?" And he's coming as Santa's little Mexican messenger.
Can I get a picture of this or what?
Yeah, you like it, Jack Birds?
Well, it doesn't do anything for me, but